This guy has been inspected and approved by Luminous.
Hey guys, this is SUNSfan, and I welcome you to the official Dota Cinema Guide to Shadow Fiend. If you aren't familiar with this hero, you may want to watch the introduction we did for him at the corresponding link. Shadow Fiend is a solo mid, agility, carry hero who has one of the best farming mechanisms in the entire game. Because of this innate ability to farm, games that seem grim may actually be within reach. Generally speaking, Shadow Fiend is a very level and item dependent hero.
Skill build.
Typically speaking, your very first level should go into Necromastery in order to gain some last hitting punch in lane. Past that, you should try and prioritize Shadow Rays in order to push the lanes and gain easy rune control. Presence of the Dark Lord should be skilled once both Shadow Rays and Necromastery are maxed out, with of course the ultimate being the only thing with priority at level 10 and 11. Getting back to the ultimate, professional players almost always wait to skill Requiem of Souls until level 10 and 11. The reason for this is, firstly, a level 1 ult is pitiful. But secondly, having full souls for a max level of Necromastery is necessary for a worthwhile ultimate.
Item build.
Starting items for Shadow Fiend should include something to the effect of 1 set of tangos, 1 health pot, 2 slippers of agility which you can turn into wraithbands later, and 2 iron branches. More regeneration can be picked up in replacement of the 2 iron branches, but last hitting must be a top priority if you wish to get your early game items. Speaking of early game items, since Shadow Fiend is primarily a mid-solo hero, a bottle is almost always picked up as his first item. Quick mana regeneration is essential for a Shadow Fiend since Shadow Rays is such a spammable skill. The boots of choice for a Shadow Fiend would definitely be Power Treads, which will provide you flexibility with mana, health, and damage, as well as provide some needed attack speed. If your farm is out of control, a nice way to actually extend your lead is to purchase Boots of Travel, which will allow you to farm lanes at a moment's notice. The fact that Shadow Fiend is so good at taking out creep waves makes him an excellent choice to either apply pressure via a push or help defend a lane in peril. As far as core items, which come during the mid stage of the game, an initiation item such as the Blink Dagger is a solid choice if you feel your teammates can set you up for a proper ultimate. Although Blink isn't always picked up, a BKB is. Having a Black King bar will provide survivability during team fights, and of course will assist you in completing a Requiem of Souls ultimate. And although not picked up in competitive games very often, a Shadow Blade is actually a really good replacement for a Blink Dagger because Shadow Fiend is actually able to pop his ultimate on top of an enemy hero because of the unit walking. This will theoretically allow you to deal full damage with your ultimate as well as surprise enemies in the process. But as you can expect, any kind of invisibility detection would counter this completely, which is why we don't see it picked up commonly. A Manta style is also picked up on a consistent basis in the competitive scene, and you should definitely consider it since it will give you a nice mix of DPS and overall tankiness. And into the late game, a slew of luxury items can be a good choice depending on how the game is going. An MKB, Daedalus, and Desolator are excellent choices for all-out DPS. If you're going for a little bit more survivability, a Satanic, Scotty, or even an Assault Cuirass are solid choices as well. We will give special consideration to both the Desolator and Assault Cuirass, mainly because the negative physical armor from both will stack with your Presence of the Dark Lord aura.
Gameplay.
As we talked about earlier, last hitting is crucial in the very early stages in order to gain damage from Necromastery. But keep in mind that Shadow Fiend does not have any kind of escape mechanism, so being map aware should have top priority. Once you have level 2 or 3 Shadow Raises, start pushing the lanes with 10 seconds or so to go before the rune pops. This will allow you to farm quickly and force the opposing solo to have to make a quick decision. He'd have to decide whether to either race for the rune with you, therefore bypassing all that experience, or on the other hand, giving up the rune in order to gain the experience and gold. Most choose for the latter, thus allowing you to net an easy rune. And of course, once you get a bottle, you can plan out ganks easily once you've bottled the runes and you coordinate with your team. Now, going back to Power Treads, and I know this can be difficult to master, but please try and get into the habit of switching to Intelligence Treads when using raises, and then back to either Agility or Strength afterwards. This will allow you to use your Shadow Raises much more frequently. In teamfights, if you've chosen to go for the storied BKB Blink combination, try and choose the best spot possible for you to get a decent ultimate off. Obviously, your team can set you up for this, but just keep in mind that the damage from your ultimate is not the only thing that matters. As long as you catch enemies within a 675 AoE, both their movement speed and attack damage will be reduced by 25% for 5 seconds. Also, a very common mistake made by players towards the mid stages of the game revolves around your right clicking. Chances are very good that your auto attacks will deal way more damage than your raises, so try to save those raises for when a hero is fleeing and is just out of attack range.
Friends and foes.
As we've alluded to time and time again, friends of Shadow Fiend would be anyone who can set him up for a good ultimate. Examples of this would include Dark Seer with Vacuum, Crystal Maiden with Frostbite, Lion with his Spikes and Hex, and of course an absolutely hilarious combination is an Enigma Black Hole plus a Requiem of Souls, which could potentially provide you with plenty of insta-gibs. Heroes that crap on Shadow Fiend would include those that are strong in the early stages of the game, whether it be because of burst damage, slows, or general mobility. A few examples of this would include Pudge, whose Hook Rock combination is just about impossible to get away from. Batrider and Viper are also terrible matchups for Shadow Fiend, as they can perpetually slow him to their heart's desire. And lastly, Night Stalker is a prime example of a hero with a lot of mobility that Shadow Fiend has a lot of trouble with. Thanks for watching, guys, and please remember to subscribe to our YouTube. Also, a special shout out goes to FlawlezZ for his help in writing this guide. You can check him out at his YouTube, which is linked in the following annotation. And finally, please be sure to check out our stream at own3d.tv